Boise, Idaho. Nexus Rebel Super C RV. I've worked for Quality Drive Away for 8 months now because I've worked for Synergy for 9 months, so I know quality's about 8 months. First time ever driving a RV for them. And they did it up big time. It's a big old Super C. One of the biggest RVs I've driven to date, except for the Class A's that I've driven for Synergy. It was okay, but it was Goshen, Indiana to Boise, Idaho. Should have been a 4 to 5 day trip. Ended up being 6, damn near 7, because it was I left Friday night. It's now Thursday. By the time I could be getting on a plane and going back, it'll be Friday. The entire week. Partially because Quality Drive Away's driver, one of them, gave me a cold. I don't know if it's the flu or COVID or what, but I've been dragging ass all week long, and I've been having to use the money that I would have made on this trip for hotel rooms, advancing ahead of time, and bitching and complaining to them and trying to get them to send money every other day, it seemed like, so that I could stay in the hotel room at night instead of just driving up here at the field, because the idea is they give you half up front, half on delivery. This was 2,100 miles, paid 1,800, which in my opinion is too less for the amount for what I was signing up for. Had I known I was signing up for a Super C, I would not have agreed to 1,800. I would have agreed to the whole 2,100 at least. But that's neither here or there. I didn't know that until I got it that night, because Quality likes to make you guess for that reason, so that by the time you go to get something, if they do have something bigger, they know they can screw you over. But anyway, paid 1,800, so it paid 800 up front, 1,000 on delivery, but I spent the 800, and then I spent 300, and then they sent me another 250. So all in all, I should be able to get back with enough money to fly back with, and then maybe I have 100, maybe 200 worth of profit off of this whole entire trip. And this was by far the worst, longest trip. Hopefully all the rest of the trips this year, if I even take any more trips this year, I'm seriously considering quitting at this moment. But mostly it's because I have the flu or the COVID or whatever it is, and it's just making me drag ass, and I feel like crap, and the whole week it's just sucked. But anyway, not to get you down, this is what the floor plan is for one of these decent ones. The nice big long slide out, again, it goes all the way down the one side of the motorhome. It's designed literally to drive it one place, pull it into a campground, flip the slide out, and live in it like a home, like you just left your home and came back into your home. It's not really designed to live in full time, although you can get by. They did leave you at least a little bit of a path through there to get by. If you watch what you're doing, you can get by back and forth. But it's annoying for a full-timer. For someone who wanted to be a weekend camper getaway, this thing's got switch on the fly, 4-wheel drive and everything. It'll get you out of wherever you need. It was pretty nice to drive it, I guess, except for the length of it. But that's what it looks like, almost residential fridge. Then you have this weird bunk thing, which I can't show you much of because it's in and I don't want to take the slide out. But basically the sled goes all the way back there for those 2 bunks. Big old range. The sink. This is your bathroom, passes through to the main one. It does have the big walk-in shower. Porcelain toilet, of course. Pretty big bathroom. I mean, they dedicated a lot of space to the bathroom in this motorhome, which is kind of neat. But it's also the hallway that squiggles through here to get to here. I almost forgot my coat back here. Good thing I came back here to look. I gotta pull the blinds up too. I tried to sleep in this one night, but it was too cold. And with having a cold, flu, or COVID, or whatever it was, I just decided to stay in hotel rooms and waste the money on that, because for my own health, with the temperatures being below freezing every single night, that would have been fine. That would have been fine if I had a sleeping bag, and then would have not had a cold. Would have been healthy. Then I would have considered staying in here, because no big deal. But with the cold that I had, I didn't want to have the cold get a lead overnight from my sitting here, freezing to death, so to speak. I normally would have a sleeping bag, but I left everything back at the storage. That way I could fly back. I literally just have 3 light layers of coats, and that's it. And that little bit of paperwork I'll show you up front. But this is the other end of that slide. See, that slide goes all the way down to the end of the motorhome. Basically, the whole side of this motorhome pops out. And in a way, it's a kind of a neat floor plan, and another way, I don't think I'd like it, because it just feels like it's temporary the entire time that you're moving, and because of course you got to slide the slide out to make it worth it. But I'm sure when the slide's out and get 4 feet out, it makes the thing feel like a nice big home. I'm sure it'd be fun. But I personally would not buy one of these things just because of the floor plan setup. I don't like these. I never have liked these floor plans where they have the slide all the way down the one side. But you know me, I'm not a fan of slides to begin with, let alone these nice big long ones, because the longer and heavier ones that have all this weight on them, they tend to wear down first. This thing's designed to maybe go 5 years worth of occasional weekend here and there, and that's it. It's not really designed for full time. And if somebody lived in this baby full time, that slide would wear down in no time flat unless they skipped it using it. That's all I brought with me, was that one little pack. It's supposed to be a packing cube, but I brought that with me so that I could fit it into my coat, which I'm hoping, if I take a cheap flight, I'm hoping that once I get everything situated better, I can fit it in that inside pocket. At least enough to get through past the gate if I take a cheaper flight. But most likely I'm going to end up taking United anyway, and they count for a bag. Anyway, so it don't matter, but I just did that in case, the fact it leaves me options instead of not having any options. So I'm going to throw this coat up front, because I'm about to go deliver this. Sign my paperwork and deliver it. Got it kind of cleaned up. I'm not going to care about the floor or nothing. I'm not in the mood to even begin to try to clean it. At this point, I don't know if I'm going to continue working for quality anyway, so I really don't care how this one gets turned into them, in terms of dirtiness of it or something. But mostly I say that because I've been up half the night. I had to stay in the stairwell of a hotel last night for half the night because I was broke and didn't have any money. This job is literally driving me broke. I don't know how people with houses and bills and everything can pay their stuff. I just don't see it happening. I am seriously considering going back and taking another RV out west for Synergy and grabbing my stuff in storage and taking it to my mom's house so she can store it for me, and then bailing on doing this for at least another couple months until it gets warmer again or something, because it's just not worth fighting the cold. I'm seriously considering taking a couple months off after this trip, and I think a lot of it just has to do with I need rest, and I need to get past whatever this cold is and finally getting on the other end of it. I haven't been tested for COVID yet, but I would almost guarantee that's what it was, because it's the weirdest cold out of all my 39 years of life as of November. I've had sore throats before, but I've never had my actual throat swell up to the point where I could barely get a pill down, let alone food. And that made me wonder. That seriously made me wonder if I was going to have to go to the hospital. One day off of having to go to the hospital for COVID or whatever. And if I'd have stayed in one of these rigs, this rig at night or something like that, I think that COVID, whatever it was, would have had a hold on me, and I would have ended up having to go to the hospital. The only reason I didn't is because I didn't have the breathing problems outside of my throat swelling up. One of the first things I'm going to do when I get back to Elkhart is go for my DOT physical anyway, and then while I'm there at the occupational health clinic, I'm obviously going to get checked for COVID, but I'm relatively sure that I had COVID or the flu, one of the two. It was bad. It was one of the worst colds I've ever had. Had the regular head cold, and then my throat swelled up, and that's the weirdest thing. I've never had my throat swell up in my entire life like that. I've had sore throats before, but I've never had it like physically swell up to where you couldn't even get a pill. I got the pill down, but I had to force it down, and I had to skip eating that day because I was scared that whatever I chewed up wouldn't swallow, and thankfully after a few hours of that, it lightened up, and then I was able to keep on going and not have to go to the hospital. But I considered it around Lincoln, Nebraska, because Lincoln, Nebraska is where I ended up having pneumonia a long time ago in 2007, and so they have the records of that. And I figured if I started having breathing problems, they would already have my records previously. So I waited half a day worth in Lincoln, Nebraska, right about the time that my throat swelled up. Got past it, but man, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Anyway, that's the whole tour of the motorhome. Sorry I got off on a rant. I'm just not feeling very great. This whole trip just sucked. But anyway, I hope I don't bring you down. I'm trying to make a decent video of this motorhome before I turn it in, and I don't have, obviously, the motorhome to make a video of anymore. So I think I'll show you the outside again today. It is a nice big Nexus 4x4 Rebel built on the International truck chassis. I mean, it is built to go wherever you need it to go. It does have a little bit of extension there, 20 foot back, which is on a 4x4. My opinion is kind of pointless. Why would you even bother with four-wheel drive and then have this much of an extension? Should have ended right about there, maybe. But that's my opinion. Anyway, Nexus Rebel Super C 4x4. It was actually fun to drive, except for how long it is and the fact that it doesn't make very sharp turning radius. The front part is kind of nice. I got to experience what this kind of pickup truck chassis is with weight on the back now, since I've driven one for Call of Duty before that was just the chassis. Now I got to do it with the motorhome and stuff on it. They make garbage trucks, they make box trucks, they make motorhomes apparently. They make about anything off of these chassis. Anyhow, like and subscribe, leave comments, check out the merchandise below in the video, and we'll catch you on the flip. Peace.